yesterday, the 18th school shooting in the past 45 days happened in Parkland, Florida, leaving 17 people dead. The 19-year-old suspect was reportedly expelled last year for disciplinary reasons. He would post photos holding guns on Instagram, and a YouTuber alerted the FBI after the suspect commented, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." Now, with all of this, with people calling police and getting them out, what are we missing? Because, you know, people say if you see something, say something. So people are saying something, and so what is missing from here?
I think that I guess I still don't understand why we need to have AR-15s. My sense is that these guns are used primarily for these mass shootings. And if we didn't have them, but we had all of those other safeguards in place, I think our children would be a lot safer in this country.
Okay.
Joy?
You know, I'm tired of talking about the topic. I almost feel like there's nothing more to say. Until they take money out of politics, our Congress will continuously do nothing about guns that are readily available all over this country. This boy had an AR-15. They locked it up, and yet he had a key. I don't have anything else. I'm done with it. I can't, there's nothing else to say about this.
I understand that. I think everyone in America understands the frustration you have right now, Joy, and the pain, and watching it last night live on television and seeing the videos that inevitably are posted on the internet of social media and students. It's absolutely horrific and a hell that God help us all if we're ever in that situation. I will say this gentleman, well, this mass psychopathic murderer, was flagged many times by students. The FBI was made aware of a YouTube comment left by him saying, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter in September." I don't know how much more black and white that can be. There are reports that students had made jokes that he would be a school shooter that would have come back. Students and teachers said that he wasn't allowed to come wearing a backpack at school. So there is a breakdown with the FBI and with law enforcement. And I think that's the first place I would also look at too, is exactly what was missed, who was alerted, and all those people should be fired, starting with that, because too many people are keeping their jobs while things like this are still going. I also think flagging mental health, when you say see something, say something, I think there's maybe people that see behavior. And by the way, the San Bernardino killer, the Orlando nightclub shooter, the Chute shooter in Sutherland, Texas, the Sandy Hook shooter, Adam Lanza, and the Virginia Tech killer all had mental illness problems that had been flagged with signs of aggression and warning signs that had existed before. And these are constants in these stories.
Do you think it was a smart idea for the new guy to tweet, sort of placing the blame on neighbors and friends and saying, you know, we have to do more, as though they hadn't done enough? I mean, they did an awful lot, you know, and I kind of wonder why we're still talking about this. And he bought all of these legally.
Yes.
He bought everything legally. So, I mean, it seems to me, and I know that lots of people disagree, but it seems to me now is the time for the gun lobby to sit down with folks and say, okay, we're starting to get what you're talking about, and see if there's any way to work on this.
If it didn't happen in 2012 after Sandy Hook, after first graders were murdered, I can't imagine, babies, I can't imagine that this is going to make a difference. And what is disconcerting to me is that President Obama, after Sandy Hook, you know, tried to put in a regulation that would keep mentally ill people from getting guns. And then just in February, Trump signed a bill that undid that regulation, and that regulation said that the Social Security Administration would have to report certain mentally ill recipients and people deemed unfit to handle their own financial affairs to the National Background Check Database. The Social Security Administration said that 75,000 people would have been added to that database. If President Trump is concerned about mental illness, guns in the hands of the mentally ill, why would he undo that regulation?
Well, I think asking why anything, I think the thing is, do we stop saying, hey, this needs to be done, or do you continue to be the squeaky wheel? Because at some point, you know, you would have thought they would, when they got shot up, they would have said, hey, no, we got to talk about this. But I think at some point, someone has to say, okay, we all have to sit down because it's out of control.
We need to
It's out of
protect
control.
our children. We need
Well,
to
we need to
protect our
protect each
citizens.
other.
Yeah.
You know, we need to protect each other.